Good morning, Year 5. Welcome back to Maths this half term. We are going to be doing lots of work about fractions, which are one of my absolute favourites. So I'm sure we will be able to have lots of fun and know that although initially sometimes they sound tricky, they're not too bad really. So let's start off. Here on the board you can see a picture of a giraffe and a picture of an elephant. And in this case, I want you just to have a think about the two sentences I've got on the board as well. I've got the something is the whole and the something is a part. So I could say the giraffe is the whole and the tail is a part. Or for the elephant, I could say the elephant is the whole, the trunk is a part. Can you think of a couple of ways that you could finish that sentence? Have a go. Okay, hopefully you came up with some good ideas. And we know that fractions are about having parts of a whole, but it's so important to remember that those parts of the whole are equal. So, for example, when I think about my elephant, if I said the whole was the elephant and the part was the trunk, well, the trunk's not really an equal part of the elephant in comparison to, say, the ears or the feet. Okay, so you do have to remember fractions are about having equal parts of a whole, but still parts of a whole. So the whole is one object, okay, can be anything at all, or one quantity, so one amount. So for example, saying I had 15 sweets or I had 10 buttons. Okay, let's have a look at this question then. So remembering that statement at the top there, a fraction is an equal part of a whole, and a whole is one object or one quantity. Which shapes over here show this? Which shapes are showing equal parts of a whole, and which shapes are showing non-equal parts of a whole? Okay, I hope you've had a little look at that. If you haven't, just make sure you do pause and have a think about it. If we have a look here at number 1, you can see that those are different parts. Okay, they're all different sizes. These two are the same size. They're a little bit just past the centre there, and these two are obviously different sizes. So number 1 is not showing equal parts, whereas number 2 is showing equal parts. I can see it's been split in half and in half again, so these are equal quarters. Part 3, definitely not equal. Tiny piece here, humongous piece over here, not equal parts. Number 4, however, they're all equal sized triangles, so they're showing equal parts. Number 5, they look quite equal to me as well. Looks like it's been split here and here. So again, you've got 4 equal parts. Whereas number 6 has got all sorts of wriggly lines. Okay, they're definitely not equal. 7's not equal either. It's been split down the middle and across almost the middle here, but you can see some parts are clearly much bigger than others. And then number 8, that one's equal again. Okay, so you can see number 2, number 4, number 5, and number 8 all have equal parts, whereas the others do not. Now, have a think about this then. True or false? All of these images show 1/4. Have a think about what we've talked about, the idea that a fraction is an equal part of a whole, and a whole, remember, is one object or quantity. Do all of these shapes show 1/4? So for a shape to show 1/4, the whole has been divided into 4 equal parts. Now if I look at my fraction here, I've got my denominator, okay, that's that number at the bottom of the fraction, that's 4. So that's the part that tells me how many equal parts it's been split into. And I continue the sentence, the whole is divided into 4 equal parts, and we have, for 1/4, one of them. So take a careful look then at these pictures here. Sorry, this one here on the end isn't actually looking very clear at all at the moment. But you can have a good look at these ones particularly. Which ones of these show 1/4? Pause the video and have a go. So hope you've had a little go there, and having a careful look then, I hope you've spotted this one showing 1/4 on the end here. One part has been coloured in, so the whole's been divided into 4 equal parts and we have one of them. This one though, the whole's been divided into 4 parts, but they're not equal. So this is not showing 1/4, even though one part is coloured in, this piece is not equal compared to the others. So this one is not showing 1/4. Put a cross through that one. This one, the whole is divided into 4 equal parts, and we have got one of them. So that one is. So I've got 2 which are so far. The next one, the whole is divided into 4 parts, but again, they're not equal, are they? This one's much smaller, so this one is not showing a quarter. Over here, the whole has been divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal parts, and we have one of them. So that's showing 1/5. So that one's not showing a quarter. And over here, if you can just about see, this one technically did finish here, but I'm sorry, the line's really not very clear at all. So technically the line was here, and there was one, if you can use your imagination really well, just here as well. So actually here, I can see that this was split into 1, 2, 3, 4 times 3, so that's into 12 equal parts. And 3 of them are coloured in. So that's a 3 for the numerator and 12 for the denominator. Now, actually, I know that that is the same as a quarter, because if I look here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, 4 columns of squares, and one of them is coloured in. So there are still, even though there's 3 pieces coloured in, there are still 4 parts to it when I look at it this way. And I know that 3/12 is actually equivalent to 1/4. Ooh, my computer's just going a bit slow there. So I know it is equivalent to 1/4. So actually, this one is. So 3 images show 1/4 and 3 images do not. So to get us ready for today's lesson then, I want us to have just a quick look at these 2 diagrams, okay? Still keeping that sentence there, that reminder, a fraction is an equal part of a whole, and the whole is one object or one quantity. So here's one of my wholes here, and I just wanted to remind you just a little bit of some of that language. But 1/4, okay, 1 part out of 4. My numerator always tells me how many parts I have. My denominator tells me how many parts is my whole been split equally into. So here you can see I've got 4 equal parts and I have one of them. So I have 1/4. This sort of fraction is called a unit fraction. Okay, a unit fraction is a fraction which has got 1 as its numerator. Okay, there's only 1 part that we actually have of the fraction. Whereas over here, I've got the fraction 2/8. So this fraction is not a unit fraction. This fraction is called, very similar, but not quite the same, a non-unit fraction. So pop that label just there as well. So we've got a unit fraction and a non-unit fraction. So 2/8, now the denominator is 8. The numerator is 2, and it's this 2 which makes it a non-unit fraction. However, have you noticed something about these fractions when you look at the diagrams? Okay, this one has got more parts to it, but I've actually got 2 of those parts. Can you see that they're actually the same size? Okay, they're actually the same proportion of the circle which is coloured in. So again, there's that word again. I know that 1/4 is equivalent to, which means it's the same as, it's worth the same as 2/8. Okay, so some important vocabulary for you today. It's remembering that idea that a fraction is an equal part of a whole. You can have a unit fraction where the numerator is 1, okay, or you can have a non-unit fraction, which is where the numerator is more than 1. Then the denominator is always the number at the bottom, and that one tells you how many equal parts your whole has been split into. Now, for the rest of your maths lesson today, I've got a few tasks. I'd like you to try task 1 first. So, for task 1, you can either print out the cards in the Google Drive, or you can also use the interactive game to play a matching game with the different fraction cards. So you can, as I say, you can print them out, or if you click onto this link here, which I'll also put into the Google Drive, it will load up the game for you. And when it loads, it will look a little bit like this, and you'll have the different cards there, just like the ones on the board, and you can match them up. So if I do the one I did before, you can see I've got this one here, I said was going to be equal to 1/2, and when you find the pairs, they'll go green. You can also add an extra little level of challenge by going to the settings and changing it so that the cards are shown face down. You can put a time on if you'd like to, and then you have to click the I want the settings to go into the current window, and it will reload the game, and you will see then that the cards are now face down. So you have to now not only work out the pairs, but also you're going to have to find out where all the correct cards are. Okay, so that's task 1 today. I'd like you to have a go at that one first of all. Okay, I hope you've had a go at task 1. All right, and then let's have a look at task 2 together. First of all, I want you to have a look at these pictures now. Which one's the odd one out? And hopefully if you've had a go at task 1, this will now feel a little bit easier because you start to get to know some of the fractions. So pause the video, have a little look. Which one is the odd one out? Welcome back. I hope you've had a go. I wonder if you can tell me. First, let's have a look at each of these pictures. Here, I know I've got 9 squares altogether. 5 of them are coloured in, so that must mean 5/9. Here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coloured in pieces of pie or pizza, and 4 which are not. So that means I've got 9 altogether. 5 coloured in. That must also be 5/9. So it seems likely these ones might stay as being part of the same representation. This one, we did this one before, this is half is coloured and half is not, so this is showing 1/2. Now I know actually 5/9 is slightly larger than a half, so I wonder if this is going to be my odd one out. And the last one down here, I've got 5 sections of the box are filled and 4 are not. So I've got 5 out of 9 altogether, so that's 5/9. So this one must be my odd one out. Let's try another one. Have a little bit of a look here. Which is the odd one out now? Pause the video and have a go. Welcome back again. Did you find it? I wonder if you've noticed actually, it's the same one that's the odd one out again. Look, it's this half here, because 3/4, well, I've got 3/4 actually shown on this diagram. Okay, if you could imagine where those lines might have been split here and here, then you can see I've got 3 equal size pieces coloured in and 1 equal size piece which is not. So I've got 3/4 coloured. Here I've got 3 coloured out of 4. And here I've got 3 rows of eggs filled and 1 row of eggs which is not. So all of the others show 3/4, while this one only shows 1/2. So your task 2 is, can you choose 4 images, or maybe some more, I have 5 in my last one, where one of them is the odd one out and the others all have something in common. Could you have a go at doing that one now? And finally today then, task 3. Have a really careful look now at how these different fraction representations can be grouped together. Think about all of the ones which show a half, all of the ones which show 1/3, 3/4 and 5/9. And I'd like you to please have a go at drawing another example for each fraction. You can draw whatever you like, but just remember that really important thing that we learned at the beginning: a fraction is an equal part of a whole thing. And that whole could be one individual item, or it could be a quantity of items. So for example, you might draw 5 biscuits, or well, 4 biscuits maybe, and have 4 of them are coloured in. Okay, so think about which fraction it is that you've got. Okay, or maybe you'll have 5 biscuits which are chocolate and 4 biscuits which are not chocolate, and then that would have a representation of 5/9. Have a go, see what different representations you can create. And myself, Mrs. Saleh, Mrs. Roberts and Miss Dawes look forward to seeing how you get on with your fractions work today. Good luck, enjoy, speak to you soon.